Do you want to know the secret to building wealth? Well, one of those secrets is understanding the various types of income and how to make them work for you. And so let's talk about the different types of income first. And then in part two of this, which I'll link to in the description when it's out, we'll talk about how to make these different income types work for you. So the first one is active income. So as you can imagine, this is an income that you are trading your time for money. So this could be your 9-to-5 day job. This could be the business that you run, that's your main business that you're bringing in income from. Anything where you're getting a paycheck or a W-2 form or you're getting paid by the hour, we'll call all of that active income. And the limitation of active income is that there's only so many hours in a day, and there's only so many of those that any of us are able or willing to work because we need to do other things other than work, such as eat and sleep and take care of ourselves and recreate. So of the time in the day, we only have so many hours that any of us are able to work. And then also out of any given week, there's only so many days of the week that most of us want to work. Most of us don't want to be working 7 days a week. I mean, sometimes people end up in situations where they have to be doing that, or working really, really long hours, what with one thing and another. But the majority of us prefer to have our weekends off and our evenings free, and just to have some time dedicated in towards work, but not be working at exclusion of everything else. That typically doesn't lead to a very balanced life. So that leads on to the other types of income that we use our active income to fund. So the second type of income is passive income. So this is something that I talk about a lot here on my channel. And this is income that, when I talk about passive income, it's not the same as just free money, which we'll get to in a minute. This is where you have put some energy, some effort, some time, some money into a project that then goes and makes money for you. So for example, if you bought an apartment and you decided that you wanted to rent this out, or a condominium townhouse, decided to rent it out, the rental income off that property would be considered passive income. Now, do you have to put money down to buy that property and find tenants and maintain it and all of this? Yes, of course. But the money that's coming into you, as long as you have tenants in there who are able to pay their rent, is basically going to continue to come each and every month. And so that's something that we look at as passive income. There's other couple kinds of this. You could look at royalties from creative works or from books that you've written. If you have a YouTube channel like mine and you're monetized and making money from Google AdSense, which is how the advertisers work for monetized channels with Google AdSense, and they're paying you a little bit to run ads on your channel. If you have a monetized channel, then that's going to be passive income that just comes into you. And also other types of passive income like that I'm sure you can think of other examples. And so the nice thing about passive income is you're basically just kind of paid to wake up in the morning once you put that initial investment of time, energy, and money in. And so you want to be working on taking your active income and really starting to build some passive income so that you're not just having to work hours and hours and hours and hours and week after week after week, because there's only so long that any of us can work a 9-to-5. There's only so long that any of us can run our own businesses. And then we have to rely on money that's coming in while we're not actively working for it. So that's the beautiful thing about building passive income streams and why I'm such a big fan. Another example is Etsy. I have an Etsy boutique myself. If you have a shop on Etsy, you put the work into finding or creating the items, listing them, obviously shipping them out, but you can be making sales kind of here and there throughout the day, throughout the week. Sometimes I'll make sales overnight and wake up in the morning and have made money. So that's always nice as well. I'll link to my article or my video that I did about how to get started on Etsy if you're interested in that. I'll link to that in the description. The third source or the third type of income is investment income. So this is similar to passive income in the sense that you're putting in that money initially. But in this case, we're talking about investments in things like stocks and bonds, mutual funds, money market accounts, ETFs, anything that's going to be giving you some dividends off your investment and growing and working for you over time. So this is something that there's so many people who are so interested in investing. And if you haven't invested before, definitely check out working with an investment advisor who can help guide you in how to set up an initial portfolio, because you can make money with investing on the markets, but you can also lose money. And so it's really, really important to be well informed and well educated in that regard. And then the fourth type of income is windfall income. So this is kind of the wild card of all the different types, where it's just money that falls into your lap. And so this could be Christmas gifts from family members if you've got family members that send you checks for Christmas. It could be birthday money. It could be lottery winnings. It could be sweepstake winnings if you like to enter sweepstakes and be able to try and win free things. There's just different, there's many different forms of passive income. Maybe you inherit money from someone who left you money in their estate. And so these are the types of income that we don't count on them being there, that we don't plan them into our overall financial plan when we're headed for financial independence. But when they do show up, it's very nice to have. So that's the other type. Now, it's interesting. There's actually something called sudden wealth syndrome that people who have windfalls in their lives sometimes end up with. And sudden wealth syndrome is a psychological condition experienced by people who unexpectedly acquire large amounts of money kind of out of the blue. Often, though, you'd think this would be the source of all your problems. How many times have we just been like, oh, I wish somebody would just send me a big check in the mail? Or, why do people win the lot? Why do people play the lottery? It's because we won't go into the whole gambling addiction side of it here because that's another conversation for another time. And I don't condone gambling, of course. But why do people continue to play the lottery even though the odds of winning are so small? It's because they really believe at the end of the day that playing the lottery will solve their problems if they won that money. And the really interesting thing is that often when people who have never had that much money suddenly come into a fortune, they understandably don't know what to do with it. And so that can often lead to stress, anxiety, emotional turmoil, relationship problems, just all kinds of interesting things that come on the flip side of coming into a huge amount of money when you don't have the experience of managing it. So I'm much more of a fan of building your wealth gradually and little by little over time and learning the skills as you go along, like you're doing right now, rather than, for example, play the lottery and hope for a big win. Because studies show that for most people who win the lottery, that money is often gone within a decade or less because they end up just spending it and spending it and spending it, and they don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to invest it or save it. And so when it comes in, you can spend huge amounts of money on things if you've got the money for it. There's always more things to buy. There's always more expensive homes and cars and vacations and yachts and private jets. And you get my drift. It's like the more money you have, the more money there is that you can spend on things. And so for people who are thinking that windfall income is going to solve all their problems, it often doesn't. And sometimes it introduces other problems that you didn't have before. So there's really a balance with these different income types with your active income, making sure that you're making it in a way that's sustainable for you, where you're not burning yourself out or having your work come at the expense of your relationships with your loved ones or your ability to care for yourself and eat and sleep properly, these kind of things. But building that passive income, building that investment income, and then when the windfalls come along, and if the windfalls come into your life, knowing what to do with them. And personally, if you've suddenly have a lot of wealth come into your life, that's the point to go find a good financial advisor basically right away, because it's really, really helpful to get another set of eyes on a situation like that and help you make wise choices and wise decisions. So that's the 4 types of income. And we'll talk in the next video a little bit more about how these all work together to work towards financial independence and how you can build wealth. But that's the kind of cornerstone of knowing what those types are. So if you found this video helpful, please do give it a thumbs up. Come subscribe for more wealth tips and ways to level up your money and work towards financial independence. And until next time, may your journey be filled with abundance, your efforts rewarded with prosperity, and your mindset aligned with lasting wealth. I'll see you again next time.